Now, you came together, Deloitte, swissVR, and Luzern University of Applied Sciences and Arts, to produce a study based on answers from board members, 350 board members, to really find out how they think, how they tick, what their attitude is towards business. And this report actually focuses more on the compensation model. And that was surprising even for you, because you didn't actually know, if I'm not mistaken, before the study, how board members actually get paid. So what were the findings? How are board members paid?
So the survey shows that 57% of the board members do get an annual lump sum payment. And its survey also shows that about half of the board members do not get compensated for additional work like crisis management.
And is that right, in your opinion, Reto? Should board members just take it as part and parcel of their role, that crisis management is what their role is about, and they shouldn't be additionally compensated for that?
I absolutely think it's part of the natural role. It's paramount for a board that the board plays the role to help to avoid crisis in the first place, and if a crisis is there, to help to manage, mitigate. So it's part of the job description, which in my view doesn't merit extra compensation.
And yes, it could be that one year they invest, say, 20 hours, and the next year perhaps 1,000 hours. I mean, you just never know. It depends really on what's happening that year within the firm. But the respondents did say that time invested was an important criteria for them when it comes to level of pay. What other criteria is important to the board members?
So looking at the survey, the top element that was always mentioned was the time spent. And looking at the time spent, it reads not only the time, but it's really dependent on the task that the board member has to do. And just to add on what Reto said before, there might be exceptional circumstances, like for instance, if a company active in Europe is acquiring something in the US, that then changes the amount of work, it changes the risks, it changes the responsibility of the company, changes the competences that are needed. So these are all elements which then play a role in the remuneration.
Speaking about expertise and sort of niche skills that might help you get the position, it doesn't necessarily determine the end pay, though. It just helps you get the role. Now, another overwhelming result was that 90% or over 90% of the board members actually think that pay among board members is fair. Is that really important, do you believe, that there is a fairness in terms of pay levels among the board members?
So this is a really positive result, because that a board functions together as a team effectively and efficiently in the boardroom, trust is required. And both perceived fair pay and transparency really helps establish this trust.
And society and regulations are anyway requiring more transparency in business every which way. And again, 90% of respondents said that really they're very happy to expose what they earn to shareholders. Are you surprised by that?
I was positively surprised. I wouldn't have expected the numbers to be, and the support to be so strong. But I think it's the right thing to do, whether businesses like it or not nowadays. I think you need to respond to transparency requirements and demands from various stakeholder groups, including shareholders. So from my point of view, that's what we nowadays have to do.
And speaking of pay and how it should, be compensated when it comes to being a board member, what about performance-related pay? Because, of course, when a company does well, surely that's indirectly the result of a good board member. So should they not be rewarded for doing their job well if the company performs well?
So the development of the company value has an indirect impact on the board's compensation. However, I would say board compensation should not be the same than management compensation. It should really be focused on long-term performance of the company.
But Reto, you've got a good idea in terms of reward if the company does perform well.
I mean, I do entirely agree with what Cornelia just said, but I think one could consider to couple an element with the long-term financial performance of a business. Because I think rightfully, with an emphasis on long-term, you would expect, it's hard to argue that the board is doing a great job if long-term, for example, shareholder value goes down, growth goes in the wrong direction. So I think an element long-term attached to it would be appropriate.
And ultimately, are you for or against a flat compensation rate?
I'm for it. I think it's a proven concept. I think it's simple. It's viewed to be fair. I think it strengthens also the independence, which is extremely important of board members. For example, you wouldn't want to have, for example, a chairman who could just discretionarily decide about pay. So yes, but with this element to be considered in certain circumstances, which would be long-term performance-based in terms of how the company is doing.
It is a very responsible position, being a board member. It's demanding, it can be demanding, and also a privilege. As an association that takes care or supports board members, what can a board member really expect from swissVR?
So swissVR is a leading association for board members in Switzerland. We do have approximately 750 members representing a variety of companies from SMEs to listed companies in different sectors, different regions. We do help board members come together, and it's really an association from board members for board members.
A good platform for sharing information and know-how, expertise. Now, you have set the topic for the next survey. We can sign up on the respective websites of Deloitte and swissVR. But just tell me, you've actually chosen corporate culture as the sort of focus of the next report. That's spoken about a lot at the moment. And of course, the personalities and the character and the expertise of board members just does reflect on the reputation of the company. Why was that an important topic for you?
So company culture is a topic dear to my heart because that's really where the board can and should make an impact on the organization. So it's really representing the DNA of the organization and helping the company move forward and be really ready to be able to be successful also in the future.
I can only echo your points. I think it is a strategic board topic where the boards need to get their head around properly, and hence I would encourage the board members to join and participate in the next survey.
I wish you lots of luck with that survey, and may many board members take part.
Thank you.
Thank you.